Welcome back to LTR Gaming, and I'm Troy. In this particular video, I would like to talk about the recent video where Todd Howard basically gave us some insight on the fact that Bethesda games will now be exclusive to PC and the Xbox console. And of course, this has pissed off a lot of PlayStation and Nintendo gamers, because Bethesda games in the past have been on those particular platforms. And going forward, I never thought that even though Bethesda was recently purchased by Microsoft, that their games would be solely on their platform, because I just figured Microsoft would want to continue to collect the money that Bethesda would still be able to bring in from having those games outsourced on other platforms. But apparently they don't care about that. And the explanation that Todd Howard basically said is that it's going to be easier to create games on the PC and the Xbox console now that their games will be only on those particular platforms. And I kind of call that explanation BS to the reason why they will no longer be on the PlayStation and Nintendo and whatever future platform that ever comes out in the future. And the reason why I say that is because the PlayStation is pretty much equivalent in a lot of ways to the Xbox. The PlayStation 5 is pretty much a PC. Yeah, I get it. You might be running different software and things of that nature, but they're making it sound like they're completely different in nature, in all essence. And a lot of gamers are eating that up. Now, listen, take it from me. I'm not a fanboy or whatever you guys want to call it, right? Whatever you guys name it today. I have a PS5 and I have an Xbox Series X. So whatever games that Bethesda is going to be able to make going forward, I'm going to be able to play them regardless. So I don't have a horse in this race that I'm cheering for on either side. I'm a gamer. I go where the games are being played. But I think it sucks a bit because you have folks who are choosing sides, and some folks that never have been a Xbox person or a PC person, and they just prefer to play on the Sony ecosystem. And you have the right to feel that way if that's what your preference is. But I think it's a bit shady to just leave those consumers asked out because now you feel it's going to be easier to create those games solely over there and not port them over to the PlayStation. Like, let's be real and honest here. Bethesda never really made sound, solid games, right? Like, in all reality, when they normally make their games, especially when their games go to PC, it's normally the modded community that normally makes their games stable and makes their games better, and also adds content to their games. So I don't know where this narrative come from now that Todd Howard, but then Todd Howard lies a lot. And for whatever reason, people are willing to overlook him in his lies, especially from the past. Like, I don't know why people don't look at his receipts of things that he's said in the past that was just completely false and contradictive. And I guess, he's a marketer, right? So he's going to say these things because he wants to put Bethesda in the best light. And now that they're backed by a behemoth of a company that has pretty much unlimited amount of resources when it comes to Microsoft, he fundamentally believes now he can make the best games. And you know what? I'm going to hold Bethesda to that now. I'm going to hold their feet to the fire now. Now that he felt that he needed to be so inclined to let us know now that he felt now they can make better games, because now you're pretty much only porting over to either the PC or the Xbox. Whenever Bethesda creates a game, you're only porting over to two platforms now. So your game should be running at its most optimal performance whenever it's released. Of course, I'm going to allow you to have day one patches. Every game normally has a day one patch when it's released. But I mean, there shouldn't be any kind of Skyrim bugs. There shouldn't be any kind of Fallout 76 issues going forward with any of your new released games, because now you have the resources and the team and the manpower to ensure that the quality of your games are running like a first-party studio game that has come from Sony. Now listen, when Sony launches their first-party games, not saying that they don't come without issue from time to time, but they don't normally come with game-breaking issues. Sony exclusives are normally exclusively great. Again, the last generation, the reason why I only had a PS4 Pro was because I wanted to play the Sony exclusives. The multiplats I played on the Xbox. So now that Microsoft has their own cachet of exclusive games going forward, and of course I gave them a lot of credit and praise for how they went about this year's E3 because Sony didn't want to compete. Those games that are coming out now for Microsoft, they got a hit. And I'm not talking about the game being great as a great game to play. I'm talking about technically wise. Those games got to hit day one. Those games got to come out swinging, slamming, punching, kicking, screaming like we've never seen before, because now there's no excuses. You can't afford to have a hiccup now. You're owned by the company that owns the company. So now at this point in time, I don't want to hear any, whoa, we're crunching. There's a crunch schedule. We have a small team. No. You don't get to make those excuses no more, Bethesda. Todd Howard, you don't get to lie to us anymore. You don't get to tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. You don't get to tell me that no more, Todd. At least not me. You might get to tell a lot of these young bucks, these young kids who are looking to get free games sent to them. I'm not one of them. I buy everything. I make money. So I'm not looking to get anything free from any company. It's great to be able to say that. I can say whatever the hell I want. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how many a lot of people create their YouTube channels solely around not pissing these major corporations and companies off because they're just looking to lick their boots to get some free access codes to some new release game that's coming out in the that's not me. That's not me. That's not me. I pay for this shit. So if the shit sucks after I pay for it, I'm going to tell you the shit sucks. Now, if you want to be lied to, you know where to find those shields at. You know where to find those people that's going to sit there and tell you everything that you want to hear, tell you everything is fine, and just give the developer a chance. Just look, they were crunch. They had to work 10-hour days. They had to work 6 days a week. You know how many other people in the world work 6 days a week because they have to, because it's called survival? I don't hear anybody, speaking up on their behalf saying, well, why do they have to work 6 days a week? But a game developer, team, members, they got to work 10-hour days, 6 days a week for 4 or 5 months. Come on now. Bethesda, you put the bullseye on yourself. You can say thank you to Todd Howard. He didn't have to come out and say anything. All he had to do is just say, hey, look, Bethesda games going forward, they're going to be exclusive. I'm sorry, guys, but you wanted to go into detail. Well, now you got the bullseye. These games better come out hot and ready to go, firing at all cylinders right off the press, because, listen, man, any kind of game-changing, game-destroying, game-debilitating bug from any of these new Bethesda games that come out on the Microsoft platform going forward, any of them, I'll just leave it at that.